The mayhem continued even after the cameras stopped recording. When Tai, the fan favorite renowned for her fire, confidence, and ruthless honesty, delivered a bomb that no one saw coming, what was intended to be just another episode of The Real Circle, LA became one of the most startling events in reality TV history. Sources connected to the program claim that Tai disclosed her pregnancy. And not just by anyone, but by the producer of the program herself. Yes, you heard correctly. It's possible that the lady who has been advising everyone else on loyalty and love has just violated the one rule that makes all the difference. The fans are going crazy. The production is totally unprepared, and the cast members are in disbelief. Everything happened during what was meant to be a standard recording of the reunion. Secrets are seething under the surface, emotions are running hot. The group became quiet as Tai, shaky but stubborn, rose up and said, "Y'all keep talking about drama, but let's talk about the real reason everyone's been acting different around me." One producer seemed to be, he had seen a ghost. Then Tai let it fall. "He is well aware that I am expecting a child." Anarchy sprang out immediately. The crew stopped. The actors let out a scream. And reality television was forever altered. The crowd was humming with excitement as the stage sparkled beneath the intense studio lighting. With laughter, light shade, and just enough tension to become an internet sensation, The Real Circle, LA Ensemble was prepared to record what was expected to be a violent but controlled reunion episode. No one anticipated that the whole franchise would be completely upended by the conclusion of the evening. Tai showed there wearing an armor-shimmering gold outfit. She had a serene expression. Her eyes sent a different message than her composed enthusiasm, almost trembling under the lashes, stormy and weighty. She had remained silent during the season, allowing the others to engage in their little conflicts. She was more than simply a co-star tonight, however. She had a secret so combustible that it might ruin contracts, reputations, and perhaps even the show itself. As the cameras rolled, the presenter grinned broadly. "Welcome back to the reunion of Real Circle LA. We're clearing the air tonight, writing incorrectly and dealing with some of the season's most intense rumors." The audience applauded. For the cameras, the women grinned. However, Tai didn't return the grin as the spotlight fell on her. She seemed to be prepared to reveal the truth. The host said, "Tai, you haven't spoken much this season. Why so guarded this time around is a question that fans are asking." Tai spoke softly but firmly as he leaned forward. Evelyn, one of her co-stars, raised an eyebrow, saying, "Girl, ain't nobody trying to make you break." The crowd whispered, "Because sometimes being quiet is the only way to survive in a room full of people who want you to break. All we want to know is what's happening to you." A little grin flickered over Tai's lips. "You're looking for the truth?" "Of course," the host responded enthusiastically. Then the bomb went off. Tai took a deep breath, her eyes fixed on the cameras. "I didn't plan to say this tonight, but since everyone's been whispering behind my back, let's clear it up right now. I'm pregnant." The audience gasped, the room went silent, even the lighting tech froze, and the host blinked. "Wait, what?" Tai's voice trembled now, but her words broke the silence like glass. "Yeah, I'm pregnant. And the father isn't who y'all think." A hush descended on the entire set as one of the producers shifted nervously behind the camera. Evelyn leaned forward. "Girl, don't play like that. Who are you talking about?" Tai turned slowly towards the production crew, her eyes falling on someone off stage. "He knows who he is," she said. The host stammered. "Tai, are you saying I'm saying?" She interrupted, her voice breaking. "That I'm pregnant by someone who's been sitting behind those cameras all season pretending to be neutral?" But he wasn't. He wasn't neutral at all. The audience screamed, castmates covered their mouths, and Evelyn yelled, "No way!" Her tone was sharp, her eyes glistening, and everyone else who has been covering for him does too. "Yeah, Derek," she said, calling his name for everyone to hear. "You're going to sit there and act like you don't know what I'm talking about? You told me to keep quiet," but Tai wasn't finished. The cameras caught the producers' faces, pale, stiff, and caught off guard. It was Derek, one of the show's senior producers, remember? "You said it would ruin your career, not mine." The whole set went wild. There were screams, gasps, and phones popping out as crew members tried to stop filming, but it was too late. Several cameras were already rolling. Derek got up, red-faced, and said, "Tai, this isn't the place." "Oh, it's exactly the place," she snapped, standing too. "You used your position to get close to me, promised me things and said you'd protect me. But the second I told you I was pregnant, you started treating me like a problem to fix." The room erupted in chaos. with cast members shouting over one another. The host attempted to restore order by saying, "We need to go to break." But now that the audience was shouting Ty's name, security arrived with the cameras still filming, and Evelyn turned to face another cast member. "She's not lying, my God." Brooke, who was seated at the back, covered her mouth when I saw them together after shooting. "If this is true, this show is done," she said. "Like done." Ty stood center stage, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Y'all constantly claim we're family here," she said bitterly. "But when it's true, when anything terrible occurs, nobody defends us." Not until it advances their plot. By the time production resumed, the producer's broken Ty pregnancy was trending globally, and fan theories were circulating on Twitter. Screenshots of Derek's face were all over the place, and everyone was asking the same question. How deep did this go? And who else knew? The host finally managed to cut to a break, but the energy was beyond repair. Behind the scenes, the crew scurried, executives shouted into headsets, and the live feed went black for 10 minutes. In her confessional, Ty sat backstage with her hands shaking and whispered to the camera, "They wanted drama for TV. Well, now they've got it. The kind that doesn't stop when the camera's cut." Meanwhile, across the studio, Derek was being escorted out, his career falling apart in front of him, and all of this was just the beginning. The studio was in disarray, with producers shouting through headsets, the audience half cheering and half in shock, and security wasn't sure whether to protect her or escort her off stage. Since everyone understood that history was being made and that reality TV had just crossed a boundary that would never be crossed again, Ty sat backstage quivering, her microphone still hot. Her mascara smeared, and she murmured, "I didn't mean for it to come out like that," her voice shaking. He gave me the impression that I was insane and that nothing mattered. However, it does. It's also his baby. Meanwhile, mayhem erupted in the control room. A clipboard was slammed down by the executive producer. Derek has to leave the building immediately. Derek was pacing in a corridor, looking pale and perspiring, when a different voice yelled, "Do we have a statement ready? Someone contact legal." "This is bad." The normally self-assured producer was totally ruined, and his headset draped around his neck. "Man, did it really happen?" a crewmate muttered, but Derek remained silent. He just wiped his brow and said, "They weren't supposed to know." The actors attempted to reassemble on stage. The host remained still in his chair, attempting to put together a strategy while Evelyn murmured, "This can't be real." Brooke moved forward and shook her head, saying, "Oh, it's real. I saw those two getting real close during filming last month. Shall we discuss this on camera?" The network has different plans. Phones were exploding in a matter of minutes. Executives want narrative control. "Get everyone to sign NDAs. We're not airing that footage yet," a single person stated. However, the harm had already been done. Tweets were already coming in from fans who had attended the live performance. Before Ty had even left the stage, a blurry cell phone video of her altercation went viral. By midnight, comments began to come in as Hawker Ty reveals, "The producer and Real Circle Chaos were trending #1 worldwide." What did Ty say, OMG? She exposed the producer in a big way. That's absurd. Keep Ty safe at all costs. The only person who is being honest is her. Some weren't as generous. She was an experienced practitioner. Now don't be the victim. The internet was split. By morning, the headlines of all the gossip magazines were identical. Scandal in a reality program. The producer makes the live on-air assertion that the star is pregnant. Derek was seen exiting the studio by TMZ. A headgear conceals the face. Other media were researching his background, including his interviews, production history, and all of the women he had ever collaborated with. Details concerning Ty and Derek's relationship, which began months ago while she was experiencing anxiety related to her contract, were leaked by inside sources. He had volunteered to guide her through the stress. Private gatherings emerged from late-night phone conversations. Meetings in private evolved into something more. Co-stars started talking. Evelyn shared a mysterious tale on Instagram. "Energy is honest. You all witnessed what you did." Shaking her head, Brooke went live on TikTok. Something wasn't right, I informed them. However, nobody pays attention until it's too late. The official statement from the network followed. A dull injury. The official statement from the network followed. A dull injury. Masterwork of control. The actual circle. LA cherishes the safety and honesty of its actors and staff. We will make sure that everyone is treated fairly and with respect as we look into the latest accusations. Fans, however, didn't buy it. The post was swamped with comments. Looking into it, the entire action occurred on camera. The incorrect individual is being protected by you. Camera. The incorrect individual is being protected by you. Justice is due to Ty. Ty was being dragged in all ways behind closed doors. Attorneys called. She was urged not to speak in public by her management. Leave it to the network, he said. Ty wasn't paying attention, however. That night, she went live with her phone trembling in her palm, raw and crying. She said, "I didn't want this to turn into entertainment. I wanted the truth to be known. This is not what I asked for. Even if I didn't plan it, I will no longer keep it a secret." He promised to support me. He is now sheltering behind attorneys. That's the genuine story. Millions of people watched. Like wildfire comments came in. Ty, you are loved. Keep going, girl. Make them all visible. Derek disappeared in the meanwhile. Nothing, no interviews, no social media. Rumor had it that he had been placed on indefinite suspension. Others stated he had been dismissed immediately. But other daring and anonymous sources alleged something more sinister. He had already given Ty money to be silent. Later that week, Evelyn and Brooke were seen leaving the studio together, dodging inquiries from the press. "Is the show canceled?" yelled one journalist, to which Evelyn retorted, "It ought to be following this mess." Tension was at an all-time high within the network headquarters. A folder was tossed onto the table by the PR head. "This is a nightmare for PR. She is courageous, according to half of the internet. She is seen by the other half as manipulative. Regardless, our names appear in every headline." While executives contemplated removing the whole season from streaming services, viewership quickly surged. It was both a financial goldmine and a moral catastrophe. "This cannot be buried." Quietly, one executive said, "The largest story on reality TV to date is this one." Rumors about a special 2-part exposé show started to circulate before the end of the week. Online, the teaser poster was released. The secret that put an end to the play was the actual circle. After days of silence, Ty eventually shared a picture of her palm resting on her tummy with the simple remark, "Still standing." The comments immediately erupted once again. Supporters poured in. GoFundMe's was founded by fans. Celebrities expressed sympathy via their posts. Yet beneath the cheers, the criticism was expanding. A statement was issued by Derek's attorney. "Every accusation is refuted by my client. There was no improper connection between him and Ms. Ty, and any assertions to the contrary are blatantly untrue." With Ty against Doter standing in for Derek's justice, the world was now divided in two. Every blog, podcast, and gossip channel broke down the narrative as if it were a murder mystery. Even the cast was torn. Others quietly expressed their love and support for Ty. Others stayed far away out of fear of being drawn into the controversy. There were still text messages, late-night emails, and unseen footage locked away in production servers, and the whispers inside the studio continued to grow louder. "This ain't no storyline anymore," Malaysia said in her confessional, but deep down, everyone knew the truth hadn't come out yet. The reunion footage that surfaced online, showing Derek's face as Ty exposed him, garnered 50 million views in a single day. News anchors talked about it, think pieces debated it, and memes were all over. The story had escaped reality TV, and now the world was divided. Days after Ty's revelation, the cast, crew, and bloggers all had their own opinions, and no one knew who to believe anymore. What began as a single confession had turned into a storm that spread to every corner of social media. "I just wanted to tell the truth. But now it feels like the truth is eating me alive," she said to the producer recording her confession, not expecting it to get this big. It was a vicious blowback. Some fans flooded her comments with love and encouragement. "We believe Ty to protect Ty, real victim energy," but others accused her of chasing attention. "She's using this for fame," a single tweet said. Then came the leak that turned everything upside down once again. Another person observed, "Every season needs a scandal," and she just made herself the storyline. A set of screenshots purportedly taken from Ty's conversations with Derek woke up the internet one morning. The messages were flirtatious, passionate, and, most startling of all, from before the purported romance started to be filmed. Ty said, "You assured me that this wouldn't destroy us." And Derek wrote, "You're the only real one here. I can't show it on set, but you know how I feel. You promised to keep me safe." The communications took off like wildfire. Some fans believed they demonstrated Derek had taken advantage of her. Others said they showed the connection was reciprocal. When the group met for shooting again, the atmosphere was oppressive. Brooke was the first to break the stillness. So, are we going to speak about the messages or what? I mean, come on. This whole thing's gone too far. The network's probably loving this. Brooke turned on her. Loving this, Evelyn? This is someone's real life. She's out here being dragged while he's hiding. Evelyn shot back. Perhaps she should have considered that before airing it on national television. Irresponsible. The door opened and Ty entered, her face white but resolute. You all can stop talking, she whispered softly. The room became quiet when I said, I'm here. Cameras panned in. With a shaky voice, Ty stepped before them. Although I saw the texts and they are authentic, no one is aware of what transpired behind them. She inhaled deeply. I was broken when I met Derek. I was mentally disturbed by this performance. I understand, he responded. I was exceptional, he said. And everything changed when I started to trust him. He turned on me the instant I ceased to be handy. Her eyes welled with tears. Evelyn, still doubtful, crossed her arms. Are you claiming that he coerced you, girl? Ty gave a headshake. No, I'm claiming that he deceived me. He made advantage of his position, his authority, and his assurances. To dominate someone, you don't need to strike them. All you need to do is persuade them that they are secure. There was silence in the room. Evelyn didn't even have a return. That evening, the video was released. Ty's terrible and unvarnished confession. Once again, fans deluged the internet, but the tone changed. Well-known people expressed their support on social media. Protesters called for an inquiry. For 2 days in a row, the hashtag #HarkJusticeForTy was trending. However, another bomb went off just when it seemed like everything were going her way. A fresh video was shared on a gossip website. Derek is seated across from Amber, another Real Circle cast member, in a hotel room. The shaky but sufficiently clear video footage was captioned, "Exclusive Derek seen with another woman from the show." Did Ty know? As he relaxed and smiled, Derek said, "She's not the only one who got close to me." The internet went crazy. Mind. Fans of Ty were enraged. The actors fell quiet. There was a lockdown on the network. Amber also erased all of her social media accounts in a matter of hours. Ty watched the video in real time. Her response was caught on camera. For what seemed like an age, she was quiet as she just gazed at her phone. So I wasn't the only one. She then broke down entirely, speaking in a voice that was hardly audible above a whisper. The irrepressible tears came quickly. I was portrayed by him. He portrayed her. We were all played by him. Laya, her closest buddy from the show, approached and gave her a hug. Sister, you're not alone. It's him, not you, who is filthy. Ty nodded and smelt. A tale was what they all want. Well, they have one now. The network said the next day that the truth behind the Real Circle, Ty will be in emergency special talks. Ty was heard stating in the teaser, I kept quiet for too long. Now everyone's going to hear it from me. The special would later become the most viewed episode in the history of the program. One additional surprise, however, would send shockwaves through everything before it aired. Derek personally sent out a message. When Derek finally spoke, everything came to a halt once again. Neither a Polish network statement nor a news conference were used. The Polish network statement was unfiltered. His personal social media accounts included an uncensored late-night video. It was a clip, choppy and dark, that shouted desperation. His eyes were weary and his face looked haggard. A deep sigh opened the video. His voice was heavy and low as he replied, I never wanted it to get this far. I had no desire to harm Ty. We had the actual thing. For me, at least, it was genuine. His voice trembled between dread and remorse as he stopped and rubbed his temples. Have I gone too far? Perhaps I did. Her producer was me. I ought to have been more aware. People don't realize, however, that she wasn't a victim. It was she who approached me. Both of us committed errors. The phrase, she wasn't some victim, became viral on the internet once again. The footage went viral in a matter of minutes. Fans of Ty went to battle, accusing him of emotional abuse, manipulation, and gaslighting. Others said it demonstrated Ty's dishonesty. The argument became ugly, sloppy, and unstoppable. The network went into a frenzy. They announced an emergency reunion, part 2, less than a day later, not to settle the drama, but to deal with the controversy that had dominated the season. The vibe was darker this time, but the cameras were filming again. No filters, no glitz, no laughter, just unadulterated stress. Wearing black, Ty entered the stage. No jewelry, no makeup, no grin. Sensing the gravity of what was about to happen, the crowd gave a quiet clap. When Derrick showed there, he was clearly anxious and accompanied by security. The air in the room altered entirely. The host spoke steadily but warily. "I appreciate you both agreeing to come. Ratings and rumors are no longer relevant here. The truth is at issue here." Without even looking at Derrick, Ty fixed his gaze on the future. "Truth," she said softly again. "That's something he doesn't understand." Derrick swallowed hard. "Ty, I don't," she interrupted. "You've said enough," the host said gently, raising a hand. "Your story has been seen by millions of people. Some people believe in you, while others doubt you. You want them to know what? I want them to know that power isn't just about money or fame," Ty said, taking a deep breath and speaking in a quiet but firm voice. "It has to do with control. And for months, this man controlled my story, my emotions, and my life. He told me what to say, when to smile, and how to act. I thought he cared. I thought I was special, but I was just convenient." The audience fell silent. Derrick looked down, his jaw tight. "I'm not perfect," Ty continued. "I made choices too. But I didn't have the power he had. And when I said no, or when I started to pull away, that's when he reminded me who held the contracts, who could edit me out of episodes, who could make me disappear." Tears ran down her face. "You said you loved me, Derrick, but love doesn't come with NDAs," Derrick finally said, his voice cracking. "Ty, I did love you. You don't understand how much this show breaks people. We get caught up in it. The lights, the pressure, the need to make good TV." The camera zoomed in on his stillness, and the presenter went to him. "Derrick, do you deny what she said?" Derrick paused for a long while before whispering, "No. Why ruin me for it?" She screamed harshly. "Why lie to my face? Why make me feel crazy for wanting something real?" The room gasped. The audience clapped softly, shocked. Ty covered her face, sobbing. Evelyn, sitting nearby, mouthed, "Wow, so you admit the relationship happened?" The host leaned forward. Derrick nodded slowly. "Yeah, it happened. And I regret every second of how it ended." Ty raised her head, her eyes blazing but her mascara streaking. "No, you regret that the world found out." The audience stood in stunned silence. "I've stepped down from my role with the Real Circle LA to focus on personal reflection and accountability," he said in a succinct, emotionless, and corporate statement. However, Ty wasn't done, and she agreed to do a one-on-one special with the network, this time on her terms, with no editing, no scripts, just her sitting under a single light telling everything. "I don't want to be remembered as the girl who exposed a producer," she said softly. "I want to be remembered as the woman who stopped pretending everything was okay just because the cameras were on. They said I broke the show, but maybe the show was already broken." Her words went viral once more, and industry insiders whispered that she would never work in TV again. But that didn't matter because she'd told her truth, and the world had listened. The season finale aired with a closing montage. Derrick leaving through the back exit, Ty walking off stage, castmates watching in shock, and the screen going black with one last message: the Real Circle. LA will return next season with new leadership and new beginnings, but fans knew the magic was gone, and the show would never be the same. A few weeks later, Ty posted a quiet photo of a sonogram with no caption or hashtags, just her and the truth she'd fought for. The comments flooded in with thousands of hearts, thousands of prayers, and one message that stood out among the rest: "You turned your pain into power." And as the camera faded on that image, one thing became clear. Ty didn't just change her story, she changed the rules of reality TV forever. And just like that, the glittering world of the Real Circle LA came crashing down in front of millions. Fans are still in disbelief as Ty's confession. Derrick's breakdown and the ensuing raw honesty tore through the glamour and revealed the painful truth hidden beneath the lights. Some call it bravery, while others call it betrayal. But one thing is certain. Ty's story started a conversation about power, control, and the lines that are crossed in the pursuit of fame. The show may have continued, but its innocence was gone, and Ty walked away as a survivor who refused to be silenced. Will the Real Circle recover from the scandal that rocked its foundation? Or will Ty's truth serve as the new beginning for something bigger, something real? What do you think? If there's one thing we've learned from Ty's story, it's that the drama never stops, even though the cameras may stop. Please share your thoughts in the comments section, And don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications so you don't miss the next in-depth look at Hollywood's most outrageous secrets. Outrageous secrets.